Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm McCayla.
Welcome to episode 126 of Adventures and Mousecapades.
Today we're going to talk about science, specifically space, or SPAS, as some may call it. Last night, the Seattle area, and a good swath of the globe for that matter, was treated to one of the most impressive lower latitude aurora shows in memory, or at least my memory.
The sky's awake, so I'm awake.
It was awe-inspiring, even with the naked eye, and for once it was right on top of us and not some faint, distant glow on the horizon. I hope you all got a chance to see it, or at least take in some of the pictures people are sharing on social media, including our humble podcast accounts. Sometimes we fly away for Disney Mousecapades, and sometimes adventures come to us. And with that, we're not sponsored by geomagnetic storms or by spaceweather.gov. These are our own opinions and suggestions.
Whoa. Hold on there.
What? Oh.
You're stopping it a bit early.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I got carried away.
This week, we are so happy to welcome back to the podcast our good friend McCayla. She's an amazing mom with a big Disneyland obsession, who you can follow over on Instagram at Mick and a Mouse Club. Well, although she and her husband, John, were tempted to join us on the Disney Dream for a 4-night cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, they decided to see a solar eclipse instead, and then take the Disney Magic out of Galveston on a 5-night cruise to Cozumel and Progreso, Mexico. This was their first Disney cruise and first cruise ever, too. Welcome back, McCayla.
Woohoo! I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait to talk to you about it.
That's what we're here for.
We started to have a conversation at church a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
and then I quickly shut that down.
it.
And I was realizing, wait a minute, we just need to record this and not have this conversation here.
Hold it. I had so much I wanted to tell you. I had so many questions.
Well, we'll cover it all today.
Now's the time. Yeah.
Now's the time.
McCayla, could you remind everyone of your Disney credentials?
My credentials. Yes. Let me open up my resume here, and hopefully will be impressive to one or two. We're mostly a Disneyland fam. We've been going to Disneyland for the last maybe 5 or 6 years as a family, and are obsessed. We love it so much. We talked about that before on our previous time together, which was so fun. I mean, we really thought that Disneyland, the first time we went, was our once in a lifetime. Like, let's go to Disneyland. This is our big fun trip. And then we found ourselves going multiple times and thought, oh, we're just Disneyland family. But then kind of got into the world of like, what else is there Disney? And honestly, like our conversation, I think it was around a year ago, maybe, the three of us had, and it got me really excited about a Disney cruise. So we started thinking about it and put one on the books. And like you said, we initially had booked the Disney Wish out of Port Canaveral.
Oh, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, and we were on the same boat.
Yeah. And
such a bummer. We did not end up going on that one. It was the same time, that same week, but we switched it to the Galveston one because we wanted more nights. So it's actually mostly your fault because we wanted more nights, and you guys always say, I mean, I feel like you guys are like 7 nights or bust. So our little, I think, was it the 3-night or did you do the 4-night? Oh yeah,
it was.
So it was 3 nights.
On the Wish, it was a 3-night, and you missed Rachel from HR. Oh,
right. Would have been amazing.
I just feel like that would have been nothing. Like we would have gone.
Yeah.
There were no like days at sea, which I feel like we just then wouldn't have had time to really get to know the boat or
Yes.
So, but I am really bummed we didn't get to go on the Wish. Like that was a huge, that was very sad. But this one worked out great. 5 nights was great. So that's what brought us on the Disney magic.
Awesome.
I had never been on a cruise before. Neither had my boys. My husband, John, had been on one cruise like in high school. So this was a pretty new, and it wasn't a Disney cruise.
Yeah.
So this was pretty much brand new to all of us. So it was quite something.
Cool.
Yeah.
You've got a pretty big following over on Instagram these days too. What do you share over there?
Yeah, that has been a fun little pocket of the world and a surprise, and it's been so fun. I mean, I started it just because I just couldn't hold in talking about Disneyland, and I just had to have an outlet somewhere that's, somebody could hear me, or at least I could get it out and talk about it. But I've loved, one of the things that I've been most surprised about is just all the people that I've quote unquote met. It's such a fun, supportive, kind community, those Disney people that we are. So I've been really surprised by that. And I've really loved, my time there. I've wanted to quit a few times, being like, it's just too much. It's too hard. Nobody cares about it. Nobody likes it. But that's my own spiral. But mostly it's been fun. Also, this is just a side note. You can take this out if you want. But last time we were talking, you guys mentioned Plan Disney.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was on the podcast. I think it was off podcast. I don't know if it was recorded. But you guys mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, Plan Disney. And thought about it, actually applied, actually got to be a finalist, and it was one of the most incredible experiences I've had. So it was really cool. And so I'm excited to apply again and go through that journey. Most of the fun is just going through the journey and the people that you meet and how exciting it is. And so anyway, I wanted to mention that too. So thank you for mentioning Plan Disney way back when. It's changed my life.
So if folks want to hear more of McCayla other than what they've got today, she was on episode 65, which was Diz Kids of all ages, talking about some tips and tricks for various age groups hitting Disneyland.
So fun.
Yeah.
Who was in your sailing party? How many people did you have total?
Yeah. So it was, like I said, my husband and then my 2 kids who are 9 and 8, which, by the way, on the other episode when we were talking on the Diz Kids episode, you guys mentioned that 9 and 8 were perfect ages for cruises. And I remember you saying that. And it was great. They were a great age. I mean, I feel like any age can enjoy a cruise. But they did have that little bit of independence where they can kind of go off on their own after, a first day or two of getting used to the ship. So, it was a great age. But your question was, who is in our party? So my family, my kids, my husband, and then also my cousin and her parents, my aunt and uncle, came, and they surprised us at Christmas, saying that they were going to come. We had been trying to go on a Disney cruise with them for like a decade. We've been wanting to do it. They did one a long, long time ago, and we've been sort of dreaming about it for a long time. So finally got to do it. So it was really fun to have them there. And I think a Disney cruise is such a great place for multi-generational, multi-ages, different speeds, different preferences, because there's so many touch points where we could come together, especially at meals, and for that togetherness. But then also there's no pressure to be with everyone the whole time. Maybe another vacation might be and have to decide on, where are we going to eat? What are we going to do today? It's just everybody can kind of do their own thing. So we had a great time.
I think we experienced that same thing when we went in December and my parents went with us, and we had age ranges from 12 all the way to 82. And I think everybody had a great time. And everybody had their own kind of pathway that they navigated through what they were going to experience. And my parents enjoyed just hanging out on the veranda and not doing a ton of stuff, but they had a great time. And we all got together for, dinners and things like that too. But it's a fantastic point that it's not just kids or young families that is a target demographic. I mean, Alicia and I are probably a proof positive of like, we'll go do Disney cruises by ourselves and forget the kids. And,
Not that we forget them, but
we try to. Okay, that didn't come out really well. Anyhow, moving on. So I know you had a couple nights in Houston before the cruise.
Oh, yeah.
What did you get up to?
We loved our time in Houston. I think when we do a cruise again, I think definitely like building in those days beforehand or after to just sort of explore a new city. Or this was new to me, Houston. So a lot of eating. I mean, we had a list probably a mile long of restaurants we wanted to try and only got to like a fourth of them. So that we're going to need to go back. A lot of barbecue, a lot of tacos, such good food. We spent half a day at Herman Park in Houston, which had this cute little train that, you can go all around the park. And they had like a kite festival going on.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. And then like little paddle boats. But we were only there 2 nights. So that was pretty much our time in Houston. Oh, but we did go to the Lone Star Flight Museum, which is really cool. It's right near like the Space Center. And on the weekends, you can do free flight simulators.
Oh,
and
wow.
so the boys loved that. That's how, they open them up for like pilots to learn how to fly. And so they were real simulators. So that was really fun. We did the Space Center on the way back. So when we got off the cruise, we spent a day in Houston and did the Space Center, which was incredible. We loved the Space Center. We were very tired and very whiny, but it was really cool, especially the mission control. Mission control was maybe the highlight of, one of the highlights of just the whole trip. It was so cool.
Well, now you guys need to book a cruise out of Port Canaveral so you can go to Cape Canaveral and see where they actually launch.
I know.
Yeah.
We could just do coast to coast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Houston's not the coast, but
it's on the coast.
Yeah.
Ish.
No, totally have to do that. That would be really cool. Have you guys done that?
yes.
We haven't been to Houston, but we've absolutely been to Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean,
so cool.
I went to space camp in like 5th grade, back when space camp was a thing. This was before the movie. Before the movie made it cool, I was already the nerd in space camp.
You were blazing the trail. Yeah.
That's right.
Very cool. Yeah. So that was our time in Houston. Very fun. And then we had a night in Galveston before we left for the cruise, which we were really grateful to get there a night before. Hung out on the beach. And then that was the solar eclipse day. So that was really cool. It was pretty cloudy, but we definitely got to see some stuff. So that was cool, especially for the boys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was Houston or Galveston, was that area in the totality range or really near
it? It was like just outside. I think Austin was like totality range. So I think it was like 97 or something, whatever that means. I don't know.
Got it.
But like it was just a little bit outside. So it never fully covered, but it was really, really close.
We were actually boarding the Dream that day.
Yep.
And totality was right around the time that they were doing the muster drill. And it was It was,
but we were on the wrong side of the ship. We couldn't see anything.
Yeah, we were on the wrong side of the ship, and I think we only got to like 50%, which doesn't really do a lot.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And we wouldn't have noticed that anything even was happening if we didn't have our little glasses, which a lot of like the restaurants and places around were just giving them away so we could have them. Oh, wow. But we wouldn't have noticed anything if we didn't have the glasses on, because then you could look and see it. But anywho.
All right, so the big day arrives, April 9th, which was our daughter's 19th birthday. But how did you celebrate?
You weren't even with her.
Nope.
No, we weren't.
How did we celebrate? We celebrated her birthday by not sleeping hardly at all the night before. Like
Too
it was
excited to
so
sleep.
bad. No, it was because we had like colds, or the boys did. Yeah, it was rough night. And we didn't really sleep well pretty much the week before for excitement and for colds. So I was like, well, I guess we're doing this. We are not at 100%, but here we go.
Was everybody excited to get going?
The boys were very, very excited. Good. Yes, really, really excited. But we were really tired. Yeah. And I had like kind of a bad attitude for a little bit because I was so tired. So we went to breakfast, got ourselves there. I think we had like an 11 a.m. boarding time.
Awesome.
11 a.m. And super easy to get down there. My husband, John, booked parking right there at the terminal. Super easy. Got in there. But once we like dropped our bags off, got into like the terminal, and my bad mood started like going away. I was getting very excited. And, the boys were excited. And then is it the gangway where you like walk like onto the ship? Oh no, they got their kids club bracelets. Yep. And that's where it kind of was like, it's happening. And like, then we went onto the gangway and got on, and like, we were so excited. So it was pretty intense. And it's the Magic. So I think it's one of the smaller ships.
Yep. It's the original.
It's the original. That's right, the OG. So, but to us felt like huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, it felt just very huge, very big. Walking in, like it all felt very fancy and lots of energy that first day and first afternoon.
That's great. What were your first impressions getting on board?
Well, Minnie Mouse was right there on the stairs waving at people, and they announced us. And I've heard and seen videos of like, it's the Butler family, and you walk in, and I wasn't sure how that all worked. But apparently the lady with the microphone was just like, and what's your name? And we're like, oh, the Butler family. And then she just said, and the Butler. I was like, oh, that didn't feel as like, I don't know. I thought maybe they like knew who you were, and like, but I don't know. It felt like, oh, okay, well, you didn't need to say us in the microphone. It felt just a little bit of like extra fanfare that wasn't necessary. Hi, we're the Butlers. Great, the Butler family. Anyway, but like the atrium there, so beautiful, and Minnie's there waving, and so that it was all felt very like fancy and fun, and a lot of excitement. So yeah, and we just had our backpacks, because you don't have your suitcase and stuff. But the boys wanted to do the water slide, the aqua dunk, and then other little water slides. And then got some like lunch at the Pinocchio Pizzeria, and just sort of like walked around and explored. And the boys were one and done with the aqua dunk, which our family is pretty like, we're up for an adventure. We're up for like the extremes and stuff. But they were just like, no, not again. No. They liked it.
A bit extreme for sure.
Yeah, because it just like drops you.
Yes.
And they're like, I think I hit my head at one point. Like, but they got off and they were smiling and they were happy. Yeah. But it was just like, nah, I'm good. We don't need to do it again.
That is the one Disney ship that kind of drop ride is on, or drop slide is on.
Oh, yeah, drop slide.
All the rest of the slides are
like normal,
much more tame. And
it's literally fun, just like shoot down.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh. Yeah.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Pull the lever. Wrong lever. And then they did the pool a little bit and the hot tub. They loved the hot tub. The pool was very small.
Yes.
So we didn't really do the pool again. But they loved the funnel vision, the big screen TV there. Yep. Loved it. Like, there's going to be a theme through the whole time, is that really anytime a screen is involved, my children apparently are obsessed. Because like the Buena Vista Theater, where they had movies going like from morning till night, I mean, especially obsessed. So, like, and I think maybe it's just because we don't go to movies. Going to a movie is very, like, special. So to have it just, like, going all the time was just like, let's go to another movie. Yeah, we probably saw more movies there than we have the last 3 years. And that's not even, like, an exaggeration. We saw so many movies. But, yeah, it was great. We were very wowed, and it all just felt very exciting that first afternoon.
That's so great.
Yeah.
What kind of stateroom did you all have?
Yeah, we had I'm not sure what category it is, but it's the midship on the 7th deck with a veranda. It was a deluxe veranda.
Okay.
Perfect room. Like, I'm so glad we picked that room. Loved having the veranda, loved having that extra space and just being able to go outside. Like, the boys would have their Fruit Loops out there in the morning. So nice. Great space for us, like, because the couch turned into a twin bed, and then the bed just came out of the ceiling, another twin bed. So they had little bunk beds there. So it was a great room for us. Loved that room and loved being in the midship and the 7th deck. And I think I had asked you guys some questions about should we be the forward or the aft or, all that. And so we were in a great place because there's only a couple floors up to get to stuff. Couple floors down to get to stuff. We're right in the middle. So loved that area, that spot. So
were the boys excited about having the beds?
So excited. Yeah. Yeah, they were very excited. I was so impressed. And this is, just a different topic, but like so impressed with like the stateroom host and just I've stayed at a hotel before, like in nice hotels where like they make your beds and they clean up your room and that's great. But this was just like next level. And she would, decorate the beds, get their stuffed animals all, and of course like the towel animals and designs that every night. And there was just something so nice about just walking into your room after dinner and the lights are dimmed, the beds are turned down, everything is just sort of ready for bed. And it just was so nice. And her name was Anna, and she was not just like cleaning our room. She would like check in with us and be like, do you have any questions about check-in or check-out? Or just a reminder that it's pirate night, tomorrow. And like a actual host. Like we felt like she was hosting us. She was just so kind and so great. And anyway, yes, great room. And oh my gosh, like I said before, I did not sleep well like the week leading up to the cruise.
Yeah.
Slept like a little itty bitty baby every single night, which I was a little worried getting on the ship and like, I'm so tired. And now we're going to get on like a cruise ship. And like, I didn't think I was going to sleep well, but like we were just lulled to sleep like little babies every night. Everybody slept so the beds were comfortable. Like, oh man.
The ship, I'm like, there's not a lot of movement typically, but like the ship has a little bit of a gentle rocking going on. And it's just like, you're in a bassinet. Good night. I'm out.
Night time. Yep. Yes. Because we'd never been on a cruise before, we had nothing to compare it to. But the first couple of nights we heard some like crickle crackle, like clunking sounds. And we're like, I guess that's just ship sounds. And the waves were a little, you could see that there were waves. Yeah. But then the last couple of nights, we didn't hear that clicking, clacking sound. And like, it was a lot smoother. So I was like, oh, I guess that's what, and again, it wasn't like really rocking, but it was like, oh, I could tell sort of a slight difference of like, depending on what the waves were like. But oh my gosh, so quiet. So calming.
Odds are those were the hangers in your closet. The unused hangers in your closet were probably what was making noise.
It was definitely in the walls. I did look and feel like I did some investigating, but yeah, there were some ship crickle crackles.
It is an old ship.
Yeah, it is.
She's just getting herself from point A to point B.
Yeah. It's her joints cracking. That's it.
She's just standing up, sitting down.
Right. Yeah. Every once in a while, like ships need major overhauls, just like, Alicia's about to have a knee replacement. Like it's just the same thing that happens. Like we're all just cruise ships moving through life. Things crack and crumble and then you replace it. It's fine.
Yep. And then the 4th and 5th night, you sleep fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, we were really impressed with the rooms and like the sleep, and like it was so cozy and nice, and
Awesome.
yeah, love the rooms.
So you mentioned a few things like the pools and the movies and all the rest of that stuff. You guys had 2 days at sea. I think like the first and the last day were both at sea. Like there's lots of other stuff to do on board. You know, there's trivias and bingos and deck parties. And what did y'all get up to? Like, did you enjoy it? Did you think it was the right amount of activities that were available?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm sort of one of those that likes to have everything planned out. Like I do Disneyland with like an Excel spreadsheet, and we know what we're doing and all the activities. And it was so bizarre to me to go somewhere and not know what the activities were. It's like you find out when you get on board what you'll be doing, and you just sit tight and you wait. So that was really tough to wait, but it actually was totally fine. Like I thought, no, I'm going to need to know everything so I can plan what I want to do. But the app is so easy and so great. And it was easy to just go through and star all the things that we were interested in. And then it just sort of appears on your little calendar, your tip board or whatever. Yeah. So it was super easy. And so we liked a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, there was a ton of like character meet and greets, trivias, games, kids club activities, things like that. And we probably went to just like a quarter of them, you know. What the boys loved the most was the Wide World of Sports deck, which is just a basketball court. But they loved it. We went
have
back
basketball
to that.
courts at home. Like
We went to that. I mean, that's what they would ask, let's go to the basketball courts. Let's go. So we did do the basketball courts often. They were not super jazzed about meeting characters. We'd mention it like, oh, we can meet Pluto at and I'm like, meh. And I think it was just because they didn't want to wait in line. They're kind of a go type. And actually on pirate night, Mickey looked so cute in his pirate outfit. My cousin and I were just like, we want to go get a picture with Mickey. He's so cute. So we waited in line, and the boys went with John to do something else. And they ended up joining us in line right at the end, and then got pictures at the end. Okay. And then as we were walking away, Levi was like, I love Mickey Mouse. And I was like, yeah. So that just goes to show if there's something you want to do, just go do it and let other people do what they want to do, and they might join you in the end anyway. But I went to a couple of trivias. That was fun. I did not do great on the Disney Parks one, which I was very disappointed in. I needed some like Walt Disney Worlders, I think, because it was like, there's like 2 Disneyland questions and the rest were Walt Disney World. And I was like, I'm very embarrassed that we did so poorly on the Disney Parks trivia. What else did we do? The boys, there were a couple like kids club, like the Piston Cup Challenge was really the only activity that they got excited about at the kids club, where they like make their own car and they got to race them. Yeah. They also just loved the video games in the kids clubs. That's pretty much all they did was play the video games. There's like Super Mario Kart or something. Oh, and movies. Of course. We went to a lot. I think we saw Wish 2 times. We saw Luca. We saw Indiana Jones. Elemental. We saw a lot of movies. Yeah, we loved it though.
Did you and
really
John
fun.
get a chance to go to any of the adult shows like the Match Your Maid or things like that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking, like the game shows and stuff. We didn't do any of the game shows. We did do Disney food trivia together. While the boys were in kids club, we went to the O'Gill's pub, which was I loved the vibe over there in the sort of the adult area. We didn't get to do it as much as I would have liked. The time really does go by fast. Like I thought there would be just, you just have this whole day ahead of you. But things just go by fast. And if you're wanting to fit, we want to do that and we kind of want to do that, sort of having to fit things in. So didn't spend as much time in the adult areas I sort of imagined, but that was fun. We did go to O'Gill's pub, I think twice, just as an adults only. And we didn't do any of those like, I know you guys are really big on like the tastings and stuff.
Yeah.
And we just like were locked out of everything as like first-time cruisers.
Yep.
There was like nothing available. So luckily my cousin had been on a Disney cruise before, and so she booked Apollo. So we got to join in on that brunch reservation. So that was nice.
Oh, nice.
But
Nice.
but yeah.
Well, we'll talk about food here in a little bit.
Okay. Pin in that.
Yeah, put a pin in that.
Did you do any deck parties like the sail away party or pirate night party?
The deck parties. That was a highlight. Oh, I forgot about the deck parties. Totally a highlight. Yeah, the sail a wave party was so fun, and we had a spot up on like deck 10, so we were like up high and could look down. It was a great spot. Lots of dancing and lots of music and lots of just, it felt like Disney Junior, you know, like a Disney, like you're watching the Disney Channel.
Totally.
But my favorite was the ship's like horn, the burn, like that literally made me tear up, which is so ridiculous. I was like, it's so beautiful. But yeah, the sail away party, but the pirate party. Oh my gosh, we loved the pirate party. That was like on night 4, I think. It was actually my favorite meal of the night, but we're putting a pin in the food. But so fun. My cousin and my aunt and uncle had like saved a little spot up on deck 10 where we're up above. So we were up there and in that spot, and then some crew members came up and were like, I'm gonna have you scoot back, but it's gonna be worth it, I promise. So they like scooched us all back. And then Mickey Mouse came out and he was like right there, and I freaking lost it like a little baby. I was like, it's a Mickey Mouse! And so it was like one of those magical, just like we were just in the exact right spot to be right by him. And then we were on the starboard side where like the fireworks were. And that was something that Levi was like, kept at, like, when is the fireworks going to happen? When are the fireworks going to happen? And so finally the fireworks happened, and then he went to bed, and then Miles literally danced it up until 1 a.m., which is so unlike, I mean, it was shocking. We're like, first of all, I didn't really peg you as a dancer. Second of all, like up so late. And then they were going to show Pirates of the Caribbean on the deck, on the funnel vision. And he's like, let's stay for that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is. I mean, I know you guys are night owls. We are morning. We're up with the dawn. Yeah. So we're not night owls. But I think the reason why he wanted to watch it was because we haven't let them watch Pirates of the Caribbean yet, and he wanted to, I think, stick it to Levi. So, so he had his deck chair like sitting straight up, like with like right in the front, straight up, trying to keep himself awake. But I pulled the plug on it like not too long into it, because I'm like, we're not staying up here till 3 a.m. watching. Anyway, loved Pirate Night. It was so fun. We brought like glow sticks from home. That was really fun, and we like passed them around to like kids around us, awesome. And it was just such a great vibe. We had fun.
That's
Loved
great.
Pirate Night.
All right, so first stop was Cozumel. What was on the docket for that day?
Yeah, we booked it ahead of time. It wasn't through Disney. Mr. Sancho's Beach Club, basically an all-inclusive beach club resort where all you can eat food, and it was on the beach. They had like an obstacle course out in the ocean, like inflatables with like trampolines and like, obstacle course, rope, like a rock wall type thing, but not rocks. And like a couple of pools. And the water was a little bit, it wasn't really choppy, but it was choppy enough that it was just like, it's a little like wavy. So like the beach wasn't as like, oh, pristine and beautiful. Yeah. It was like, a little bit less exciting, and a little cloudy, but totally fine. Totally fine. Great food. We ate our weight in shrimp, and John tried like literally every cocktail that there was to try. He's like, I gotta try them all. So we had a great day, and it was really easy to get there. And then it downpoured on the way back, which was kind of a fun little like if it was going to downpour, that would be the time, like as we were getting on the ship, because we could just go, it wasn't a big deal, but it was like a fun memory of like, we were soaked, but yeah, we we enjoyed it. It was a great day, and nice. I really recommend Mr. Sancho's. It was an easy, great day, and it was a great deal too.
Cool.
Did they provide the transportation to and from?
No, they didn't. We had to get a taxi, which I feel like we for like how much cash to bring. I feel like we thought we did a good job to like know how much cash to have, and we thought we like overestimated, but oh my gosh, we ran out of cash. Like,
wow.
Because there was so much, I mean, we wanted to have like ones for tips and like, so we needed cash for a couple of like the excursions. So anyway, but still underestimated how much cash, like taxis and all that would be. Not that because it was expensive, not that it was more expensive than we thought. It was just
all the things that you wanted to use cash for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So booking on your own is often something that really intimidates people, especially first-time cruisers. How did you feel about going into that? What was the decision point for wanting to go independent versus doing something directly with Disney?
Yeah, that's a great question. We definitely looked at Disney's options and considered them. We had a friend who went to Cozumel on a Disney cruise last spring break, and they did Mr. Sancho's Beach Club, and they had heard from their Facebook group, which, you know, on Facebook you have like the whatever trip that you're on, you can join that group. Your cruise group. And there's a lot of tips and a lot of people throw out, this is what we're doing. So that's how she learned about it, and they really liked it. So and it seemed convenient enough, like on the website, to book it. So it was like, we'll do that. And then same with the other one in Progreso, where we didn't go through Disney. We did our own private thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where I heard about that. I think maybe a Facebook group, and then just looked at reviews and stuff. But I think I could totally see my aunt and uncle and cousin, they did Disney excursions, and I can totally see the appeal, because it's like, meet at O'Gill's Pub at 11 a.m. and you'll be taken care of for the rest of the day, you know?
Right.
That feels really comfortable and nice. Where this Progreso, they did pick us up at the terminal, but there's still some like, you got to get from the boat to the meeting place, so I could see how Disney excursions would feel, you know, that extra layer of like, you're taken care of.
You weren't worried about getting left behind at all?
Not at all. No. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't.
That's the
I'm usually anxious about everything.
That's the other thing with the Disney excursions is if something happens to run late and you're on a Disney excursion, they will wait for you.
Right.
If you're on a non-Disney excursion and it's running late, they will not wait for you.
That's some good insurance for sure. The company that we went through, Progreso, the Yucatan cenote, amazing. And they had like guarantees, but you can guarantee something, but still something could go wrong.
Yeah,
sure.
But had really high reviews, but still,
And it's good if you do go independent. I think there is a little bit of a security blanket if a company is like, look, we understand the cruise industry. Mm-hmm. We understand how these things work.
Mm-hmm.
If something weird were to happen, we'll help you, get to your next port so you can get back on the ship or like, I would say the more organized group, ventures
experienced,
will help you out or hopefully will help you out. Obviously check their website or ask them specifically. But, if you're just off wandering around town and just lose track of time because you're in a bar or whatever, I mean, the boat can and has in the past left people because they can't wait forever. They have port schedules to make that takes time to get from A to B. They're not going to wait for you. So
I wouldn't want us to wait for anyone. Mr. Sancho's Beach Club, they don't care.
We've done non-Disney excursions before as well. And you just got to, you do your research, make sure you're there when you need to be there and back on the ship when you need to be back on the ship and check with the excursions that you're taking. A lot of them, like Nathan said, do have policies and procedures in place just to make sure that you do get back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing that these places want to do is have bad reviews on the Facebook groups and TripAdvisor and everything else because, hey,
that's where they get the business.
Right, exactly. Because if somebody does miss their ship, like for sure they're going to blame that tour operator, and that would be the worst thing ever for them. So
yeah, totally. We were very happy with how it all went.
Good. You mentioned Progreso and you did some cenote like cave exploration. What was that like?
Yeah, that was probably a highlight for John and I of all the whole trip. Really was our excursion in Progreso, and it was through the Yucatan Cenote Company, and they pick you up in this private van, and we went with my aunt and uncle and my cousin as well. So it was a fun adventure that we did together. Pick you up in this private air-conditioned van with snacks and drinks and drive you around, and they're sort of talking to you about, you know, the city and the town and the history. And we went out to a Mayan ruin first. There's tons around there, and we just went to one of them, but you could climb around, and which not a lot of them you're allowed to like climb on, and so we could explore, and so the boys really enjoyed that. And then we went to the cenote, which is like tiny staircase, like a spiral staircase down, and like down into the ground, and then you're underground and in this huge cave with like rock cliffs, and like, I mean, it was like water you can swim in, and like I had to literally check out of my brain and be like, we're not underground, we're totally fine. If there was an earthquake, it would be fine. Like if there was a medical emergency, I'm sure they could get us up a stretcher up that.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh man. Like, and like my kids were jumping off the cliffs, and like I was like, oh man, but it was so cool. I mean, that was just something that we're just like gonna always remember. And then they made us lunch there, like an authentic Mayan lunch, which our boys still talk about. And we've gone to a couple of Mexican places, and Levi will be like, do they have like Mayan tacos? Like and he didn't really like tacos before, so it's turned a new leaf, and he had a very limited repertoire of what he liked to eat. But now tacos are part of his repertoire now, which is great. But it was a really, really fun special day.
I will say Mexican food here in the United States has never been at the top of my list. And we did a port excursion, I think for the first time. It was our westbound Panama Canal.
Puerto Vallarta.
And we were in Puerto Vallarta. This was 11 years ago. And the tour that we did went to this restaurant for lunch, and it was so good. Like, completely changed my mind on Mexican food.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in Seattle, which is not really great for Mexican food. Like, if you're down in California, though, the Mexican food down there is much better.
Yeah.
Let's talk entertainment.
Okay.
DCL is known for some of the best stage shows in the cruise industry. Did you get to go to any of the shows?
Yeah. So there was a show every night at the Walt Disney Theater. I think one night was a magician, one night was Tangled, one night was like Twice Charmed. Yeah, the Cinderella show, and then Disney Dreams was another show, and then they showed The Wish there at, like, just as a movie theater. And we went to 3 of the 5, but of the third one, we left early because Levi wanted to go see Elemental in the movie theater. So, because he was obsessed and he could not lay off of it. Loved Tangled. That was the first night. It was so magical, and like the lanterns and scene, and it was really cool. And like the quality is up there with like going to the Paramount or something. For Seattle people, that's like the theater. And however, I think I was just a little disappointed, and there weren't being shows that my boys were just like, like Twice Charmed. They weren't like, cool. So I mean, I would have loved a Lion King or an Aladdin or something like that. It felt a little bit on like we did Tangled and Cinderella, and so, or that's what we had. Yeah. I mean, it was like great for like Tangled. It was a great show, but also just like I kind of wish there were a couple of other options. And I bet Disney Dreams, that's the one Levi and I left early because he wanted to go see Elemental. The others stayed, and as I heard about it, I was like, I think we would have really liked that. Like, I heard there was like an Aladdin scene, and like, you know, they brought in a whole bunch of different shows. So
it's like a musical review type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, that could have been nice, but we didn't do that. So yeah, good, not great in my opinion. Great in that Tangled was great.
So excellent execution is what I'm hearing, but you just wish there was a little bit more variety in maybe not hitting all the princess things, like have a little bit more. Yeah, that's fair.
Which they had a magician, which that's cool, but we didn't go that night because Indiana Jones was that night at a time that made sense for us to go. And really Levi's a big Indiana Jones fan. So, I mean, he had an Indiana Jones birthday party. It's like one of his favorite rides. So, and he hadn't, I think he had seen that. It was like the newest Indiana Jones. But anyway, he was really excited to see it in the theater, and that was the time that worked. Anyway, so we missed the magician.
I'll say Aladdin is on both the Fantasy and the Wish.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, might be to come in another question or another topic, but like Wish would be our next, like what we're shooting for next would be the Wish. That just seems like that would just be.
Wish is gorgeous. It's very much a princess style cruise, though. Like, like Disney princess style.
I don't know if style's the right word. Decor. I would say a lot of the theming is a lot of princess
It's
stuff.
a fairy tale castle at sea.
Isn't there the Avengers meal?
Yeah, they do have that.
Yeah.
I know the new ship coming out, the Treasure, is Aladdin themed type, I believe.
Oh, really?
And then the last one that they announced is a heroes and villains theme.
Yes. Was that the Destiny, or is that a different one?
Yeah, that's the Destiny.
Yeah. I have Wish and Destiny. But I feel like, isn't Destiny like the 7-night itineraries?
We don't know yet. The Treasure is going to be the 7-night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So we don't know for the Destiny. Okay. Well, I'm going to put a pin in that one then.
No, I think there's a decent likelihood, a non-zero chance, we'll say, that the Destiny may be what retires the magic.
Oh, really?
It's possible. Let's just say that. Like, the magic and then the wonder are starting to reach the end of their typical lifespan for a cruise ship. Typically, they'll go get sold off to like a down market line and reused. Now, that said, that's for a typical cruise ship. And these ships are incredibly Disneyfied. And I can't see Disney letting that Disney theming and that iconic, like, silhouette of a Disney ship go to another line. So they may keep those around. I would love for them to stay around, because I think the magic and the wonder specifically, like, that's our favorite ship. Like, we just love those smaller ships.
Yeah.
And but
or maybe just in a different capacity. Maybe it's just doing something else.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing to just keep in mind is, the Wish for the foreseeable future until the next class of ship comes along, probably in another decade or more. Like, that's just going to be doing the Bahamas milk run. It's going to be doing 4s and 3s and 4s and 3s and 4s and 3s. So if you're thinking, a 3-night cruise is way too short, a 4-night cruise is way too short potentially, like, you may want to think about hitting the Destiny or hitting the Treasure, because those are going to be a more varied itinerary where you can get something a little more longer, a little more comfortable. It'll be interesting to see where the Destiny does go.
I'm really excited to see what the Destiny,
or do one of the repositioning cruises from Vancouver to San Diego. Those are usually around 5 nights, I think.
Are those Wonder?
4 or 5. Because the Wonder is typically what's going to be over here in the Pacific for the foreseeable future. Yep.
We would love to see Castaway Cay. Like, that would be something that we'd love to experience.
Yeah.
Or they have the new island coming out too.
Yeah, Lighthouse Bay.
Yeah.
Lighthouse Point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lighthouse Point. Don't tell Plan Disney. I just. I feel like 4-night would be great. Like, I think we could do 3 nights feels like not enough. Like, but 4 nights on the Wish, I think, setting my sights on that, and see what the Destiny might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
yep.
Do we know where the Destiny is going to be going out of? Miami?
We don't know.
They've only announced the name and the theme so far.
Okay. So just speculations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anywho, I took us off on a tangent, but like
we love tangents.
That's the whole point of this podcast is one big tangent.
Yeah, but the Wish does seem very exciting to us. So we'll see.
All right, so we've put a pin in, and it's time to take the pin out of the corkboard. Let's talk food.
Thank you, finally. Oh my gosh, finally. I mean, because this is like a highlight, right? Like for us, like this was a huge highlight. Huge highlight was the food, and I mean, we had the 3 rotational dining locations. We did Animator's Palette, and we did that 2 times. I think first night and last night. Rapunzel's Royal Table, we did that one night, and it was so darling. And it had like an actual entertainment. Like, so that felt so fun. And Rapunzel being there and all of that. And then Lumiere's 2 nights, which that could use a little glam, like a little glow up in Lumiere's. Like they could have Belle come in. Like Belle's there. I've seen her. Like she's walking around. Have her come in there. So that night, one of those nights was Pirate Night, so it kind of felt different. So that was fine. But Animator's Palette was so beautiful, and like the art and the screens, how we loved guessing, like, because they'd start by like showing like the drawings of different characters, and as they start unfolding, so we tried to like guess which characters they were. And then on the final night, Sorcerer Mickey came out to Phantasmic, and I was like, oh my god. Like it was so great. But yeah, dining was just insane. Like the level of service blew my, like, and I had high expectations. Like I had really high expectations, and it blew me out of the water. Like it was awesome. The service was so good. Levi went on our last night. Our servers were, Michael and, oh my gosh. Oh shoot, I should have written it down. But on the last night, Levi was like, I'm going to miss Michael. He really, really loved Michael, and he still talks about Michael. And because the boys, I think, were really, really struck with just how special they felt, because they were taken such good care of. Not that we don't take care of them, but like just like spoiled. Like, oh, you want the mac and cheese and the chicken strips? Fine, you can have that. You want more mac and cheese? Here you go. And the whole, like, I had heard, how they get to know your preferences, and they can have it ready sometimes before you get there. I had heard that, but the boys didn't know that. And like them showing up one night and like their dinners were there, and they just could not they were like, how'd they know? It's like, well, you've been ordering the same thing every night. Like, but they were just like, wow, like they just felt like little princes. Like it really did. They did feel so, so special. So I loved that. And I loved, again, we sat with my aunt and uncle and my cousin. So that was a really fun, like, togetherness. Yeah. Really special. And then we'd take they'd bring the kids' food out super quick, super fast. And then we'd take them to Kids Club. And that was like, they'd be done with their food before we were even like halfway done with our meal, So of like the 4 courses, we would have had like 2 by then. So it was nice to then just have a relaxing, adults only meal. So that was just really, really pleasant and lovely.
Did you have early dining or the late seating?
We were originally scheduled for the late seating, and we changed it to the early seating, which was super easy to do in the app. And that worked out just better for us. We tend to eat very early. And but I could see how it could be, you could have like a little snack after an excursion, or like have some room service while you're changing, coming back from an excursion, and then, doing some entertainment and then having your meal. Like I could see how it could work the other way too, but we really liked the early dining.
It's super popular for families with young kids, I would say. Mm-hmm. And it's not something, it's awesome that you were able to change like on board. Mm-hmm.
Or in the app, yeah.
Your
we
mileage
did it beforehand.
Okay, yeah. Your mileage may vary, just depends on the cruise and how many other people. Like sometimes those early dining slots do fill up, and they won't be able to accommodate that. So
and I said easy, meaning like it was easy for me to find where to do that, and where to request it, and I did it like 10 months in advance. Pretty much the minute that I saw we had the later dining, I looked to see if we could switch it. So, but yeah, I think that's a good point, that we can't always assume that you're gonna get what you want.
Did you hit Cabanas at all?
That's
the
great.
Buffet.
We well, first of all, we love 500 breakfasts. We love having a first breakfast and a second breakfast because we're up so early. So we loved having like the room service breakfast. That was so fun. And that was actually something that like the boys were really excited about, because we don't do room service like in real life. So that was really special, like ordering it beforehand and like, having it show up. And it was like, for being on vacation, it's one of those elements that made it feel like vacation, where we didn't have to like get ourselves ready to like go to breakfast, which like pretty much every vacation, it's like you got to get yourself ready to go to breakfast.
Right.
But this was just like, we just like are still in our jammies and we can have a little first breakfast. But then we would get ready and go. We did Cabanas. We did Cabanas for a couple of mornings. And lots of great choices. They have like the Mickey waffles, which were delicious and yummy, and like every option under the sun for breakfast. However, it was so crowded. And the seating was like really tough to find. The first day it was pretty easy, but then a couple other times it was just like we're wandering around and we have like our food, and then by the time we sit down, it's like our food's cold. Like they were just sort of just like, oh, we're done. But my aunt and uncle, they pretty much every morning would do their sit-down breakfast. So we're like, let's try sit-down breakfast, which usually we don't do because of the boys, and that feels like just more time. They're very active little boys. Yeah. And so sit-down stuff just feels like we don't do it as much. But it was so nice, especially after Cabanas, to just be like, oh, this is nice. It's like we have a table and it's quiet, and same sort of thing. The kids' food comes out quick, and so that was in Lumiere's. So Cabanas was great for what it is. If you want just a lot of options quickly, but that seating was really
I don't know of any of the ships where the breakfast buffet is a enjoyable experience from a seating perspective. It's just everybody's there, especially if it's like a day you're in port and everybody's trying to slam breakfast through before they go do an excursion. I'm just like, it can get a little rough.
You almost have to be there right when they open, and I don't even know what time that is.
We're never up that early.
Never up that early.
I think it's 7. Okay. I think, but I could be wrong on that. But we wouldn't get there till 8 or 9.
You are early risers. Did you know that occasionally Goofy will be sleepwalking around the ship in the early morning?
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did not. That is so precious. I saw more characters than I was expecting. It is very magical. Saw like a parade of princesses go by, but no, I did not see Goofy sleepwalking. That is so cute.
It's usually really
fun.
early. Yeah, I don't know the timing, and we've never seen it. So,
and it's probably just one of those like very magical things. Was it the end of Wish? Oh, so spoiler alert, at the end of like the credits of Wish, if you wait through the entire credits of Wish, there's like a very sweet little scene that's like a nod to like Disney, and because it's Disney's 100th. So we waited through the credits in the theater to like watch that little moment, and then right at the end, it's like a couple princesses came out like from the front of the theater and just like walked through, and it was just like, no. So it's like, I think that's just where they come in and out. But it just felt like those little magical moments still happen on the cruise like they do in the parks, which I thought which is one of the things I love about the park. So I love that sort of happens on the cruise too. You get those magical moments.
Did you get to Palo? I think you said you got to Palo added on. Was that brunch or dinner?
We did a brunch. Yeah. So my cousin did get a reservation and we were unable to when it was our time to book. I think it's like 60 days out or something. So we got added to her reservation, and such a lovely, beautiful experience. Beautiful windows. Like they must not overpack it, or because it was just like there was only a couple other people. It felt like there weren't even people around the tables, where we were. So it felt very just quiet, and the boys were in kids club. It's adults only. So that was just nice to have time with my aunt and uncle and my cousin, and just some adult time, and very leisurely and very fancy. Very, very fancy. Yeah. And that's what the extra charge, I think it was like $50 a person, I believe. So really glad we did it. Loved it. Very great experience, but probably not like, we have to do it every single time we go. Just because it's like the food was only like slightly, in my opinion, elevated than like a normal what we had been getting. I mean, it was really nice, but I had felt very impressed by the other meals as well. So I'm glad we did it.
Cool.
Did you get to any bars and lounges?
I really wanted to go to Keys, like the lounge there. We never made it there, which was kind of bummed. There was always just seems to be like a tasting happening, or like they did a lot of like those private tastings and stuff. So just didn't make it. We did go to O'Gill's Pub a couple of times, and those were the only like lounges, clubs. We didn't even really make it to like the adults only pool and like bar. I know you guys, that's a spot you guys love. And so we just, it just didn't work out this time.
That's why you need a longer cruise.
5 nights, not enough.
She's just leaving stuff to do for next time.
Yeah. And the boys weren't like, we want to spend hours and hours and hours in the kids club. Like they would do like an hour or two max at a time, and they'd be done. It's not that they wouldn't go, like, I don't want to go to the kids club. Like they'd go and it was fine, but they weren't like, can we go? I want to go to the kids club, which is sort of what I was hoping. I was hoping that it would be like such a fun place that they would just like wouldn't, which is sort of what I've heard. I've heard the kids clubs are so fun and the kids can't get enough, but that age range, like 3 to 10, it's like, and my boys are like 8 and 9, and like the 8-year-olds kind of like, 9 and 10, like they're on the upper end. So it was, again, they liked it. It was fine.
Yeah. I think it depends on the kids too. And it also depends on the ship and the sailing. I think it could be completely different sailing to sailing. It just depends on what the nature of the kids and the age ranges that are there. It is a broad range. It used to be 3 to 12.
Yeah.
So they've made a recent change around that, but I think it just depends on the kid and the cruising, because at this point, especially when the kids get a little bit older and they're into like the edge, which is like, they love like Sterling at this point on most of our sailings. We just like, we'll see you for dinner. You have to be at dinner.
Yeah.
And he's just gone.
Wow.
And
the show and dinner.
Yeah. Dinner and a show.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to join us for the show, or check in at least, and then do dinner. But Caitlin didn't really ever go to the kids clubs.
No. She did when she, like the first couple cruises we did, she loved the kids clubs and would want to be there all the time. And then when she was honestly probably in that 8 to 9 range.
Oh, really?
Interestingly, she's like, nah, I just want to hang out with you. Now, she's probably the exact opposite of your boys in that she's very chill and honestly would just want to hang out on the veranda with us and read a book.
Oh, okay. So she'd be okay with the chill vibe.
Yeah.
Where, our boys, unless there's like a movie like Funnel Vision, like we could like lay out there, but that's not the relaxing,
right,
Quiet Cove.
No. I also think it would be interesting, to your earlier point of you're targeting kind of the Wish or one of the newer Trident class ships, with the Treasure and the Destiny coming along here soon too. The kids clubs there, holy
they are
moly,
amazing. Yeah.
They're insane. They're really, really impressive.
Yeah, and I think maybe that was sort of and who knows, but it could have been a downfall, because when we originally booked the Wish and we were on that for a few months, we had shown pictures of like the kids club and stuff to them, and pictures are always different than what's in real life. And we ended up showing them pictures of the Disney Magic then when we were, but I think they had it in their head, some of the things that were on the Wish, and I think they had like an obstacle course thing. That like my boys would have like freaking flipped out. So it was just like, I think that they had maybe some images in their head that just were sort of unmet, because it wasn't that it was like bad. It was just, this isn't as like cool as I thought it was going to be.
You're basically teaching them to be like in the Disney community a lot earlier, where you just have high expectations. And if Disney doesn't meet them, man, it's the end of the world.
No, that's rule number 1, Nathan, of having a good experience is having low expectations so that you are not disappointed and you manage your expectations. So you're
Let the magic happen.
Let the magic happen. That's right. Oh, I wanted to ask you.
Well, if you've ever sailed with Disney, you know what that means. It's time for an announcement. And this week's announcement is we're splitting this episode into 2 because we kept talking with McCayla and went on for quite some time, and it's all really good. So we don't want y'all to miss out on that. And with that in mind, we are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are our personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation. And since Alicia's not here today to read the other parts of our outro, she is recovering from knee surgery and we recorded a bunch of episodes early. Anyhow, I digress. If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com. Go ahead and give us a follow on social media. We're at Our Mousecapades. And of course, please give us a rating and review in your podcast app. It really helps people find us. Lastly, please don't hesitate to share us with your friends and fellow Disney lovers of all ages. Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.